What if the most dangerous threat to your retirement isn't market crashes or medical bills, but the people you love most? Last month, a financial advisor shared something shocking. 67% of seniors who help adult children financially end up delaying retirement by an average of 3.7 years. But here's what really stunned me. A recent study tracking over 2,400 retirees for 8 years found that parents who provided moderate to significant financial support to grown children were 40% more likely to run out of money before age 80. Your kids aren't trying to hurt you, but every dollar you give them today could cost you $3 of security tomorrow. And most parents discover this truth far too late. If you're feeling guilty right now, stop. You're not a bad person for wanting to help your children. You raised them to succeed, so of course you want to help when they struggle. The impulse to protect your kids doesn't disappear just because they turn 30 or 40. And the conflict you feel right now between love and your own security, that's completely normal. Let me tell you about Betty. She's 68, a retired teacher with a modest pension. 3 years ago, her daughter needed help with a down payment on a house. Betty gave her $45,000. Then her son lost his job. Over 14 months, she helped him with $18,000 to cover his bills while he searched for work. She thought she was being a good mother. She thought she had had enough. Today, Betty is back working part-time at a local bookstore. She's downsized from her home into a smaller apartment. She's delayed a knee replacement she desperately needs because she can't afford the deductible. She told me, "I thought I was being a good mother. I didn't realize I was choosing between their comfort and my survival." Betty isn't unusual. According to research from a major financial services firm studying 3,200 families over a decade, the average parent gives $38,000 to adult children between ages 60 and 75. And here's the part that should terrify you. 61% do this without adjusting their own retirement plans. They just give the money and hope it works out. But here's what they don't tell you about what happens next. The consequences unfold in ways most parents never see coming. That $38,000 you gave your kids, it doesn't just disappear. It multiplies in reverse. Here's what I mean. If you had kept that money and invested it conservatively at just 6% over 15 years, it would have grown to $91,000. At 8%, you're looking at $120,000. You didn't just give away today's money, you gave away tomorrow's security. And this isn't about missed investment gains. This is about having a buffer against inflation, against rising medical costs, against the reality that your expenses at 78 will be double what they are at 65. That $38,000 could have been the difference between independence and dependence. Now let's talk about the 3 myths that get parents into trouble. Myth number 1, they'll pay me back. Here's reality. A study analyzing family loans found that only 23% of adult children fully repay their parents. The average repayment rate, 31 cents per dollar lent. So when you lend $10,000, you'll likely see about $3,100 back. Maybe. Myth number 2, it's just this once. The data tells a different story. 78% of parents who are asked once are asked again within 18 months. The average number of times parents provide financial assistance during retirement, 4.2 times. Once becomes twice, twice becomes a pattern, and the pattern drains you dry. Myth number 3, I have enough to cover it. Most parents calculate based on their current needs, not their future ones. But healthcare inflation runs at 6.5% annually. That's double the rate of general inflation. What feels comfortable and manageable at 65 becomes absolutely crushing at 78. Your needs grow, your resources shrink, and the gap swallows you. Here's the reframe. This isn't about being selfish. This is about being honest. When you run out of money at 76 because you gave too much at 65, who has to help you? Your kids. You're not protecting them by sacrificing your future. You're just transferring the burden to them later when they're less equipped to handle it. So what do? How do you protect both your retirement and your relationship with your children? I'm going to share 5 financial boundaries that changed everything for the families I've worked with. These boundaries have been tested by thousands of families across the country, refined through real experience, and backed by research. And here's what matters most. These aren't about cutting your kids off. They're about creating sustainable ways to help without destroying your security. They're about protecting everyone, not just you. Number one is the boundary. 87% of financial advisors wish their clients had set from day one. I'm saving it for last because once you hear it, everything else clicks into place. Number one is so powerful because it eliminates the single biggest reason parents overgive. It's simple, it takes about 5 minutes to set up, and it removes all the guilt. More importantly, it actually strengthens your relationship with your kids instead of straining it. When you implement this boundary, the dynamic shifts from tension and resentment to clarity and respect. Before we dive in, I need to know something. Are you currently helping adult children financially, or have you in the past? Drop your age and a quick yes or no in the comments. We read every single comment, and your answers help us understand what you're facing. And if you've already experienced what happens when helping hurts, tell us about it. Your story might save someone else's retirement. Someone reading your comment might finally realize they're not alone. All right, let's get into these 5 boundaries, starting with number 5. Number 5 might surprise you because it's not about saying no, it's about saying yes differently. Number 5, the matching principle. This is the boundary that teaches your children accountability while still showing you care. Most parents just hand over money when kids ask. But here's what research on financial behavior shows. When people receive unearned money, they're 3.2 times more likely to spend it impulsively. They treat it differently because they didn't work for it. But when they have to contribute their own resources first, when they have skin in the game, the success rate of that financial decision jumps by 68%. A behavioral economics study tracking 1,800 young adults over 5 years found that those who received matched contributions instead of outright gifts built 44% more personal savings and were 51% less likely to return asking for more help. Matching teaches responsibility, it teaches planning, and it makes your help go further because they value it more. Here's how it works. If your child needs $5,000, you don't just give $5,000. You offer to match what they save or contribute. Dollar for dollar, or even 2 to 1 if you're feeling generous. They saved $2,500, you contribute $2,500. They saved $1,000, you contribute $2,000. Set a clear timeline, usually 6 to 12 months, and stick to it. No exceptions, no extensions. Here's the crucial detail. Put your matching commitment in writing, even if it's just a simple email. This eliminates future confusion and keeps everyone accountable. No, he said, she said later. Typical matching ratios, 1 to 1 for large amounts, 2 to 1 for smaller ones. Timeline, 6 to 12 months, depending on the total needed. Now let's move to number 4, which protects your nest egg automatically. Number 4, the 5% rule. This is the mathematical boundary that keeps you from giving away too much without realizing it. Most parents help their kids based on emotion, not mathematics. They look at their total savings and think, I've got $300,000 in retirement accounts. I can spare $40,000, but that $40,000 represents 13% of your security. And most financial planners say taking more than 5% for any single non-emergency expense is dangerous. It destabilizes everything. Research analyzing 2,100 retirement accounts over 12 years found that retirees who withdrew more than 5% for family assistance experienced portfolio failure rates, running out of money, at nearly triple the rate of those who stayed under that threshold. Triple. That's not a small difference. Here's how you implement this. Calculate 5% of your total liquid retirement assets, not your home equity, not what your house might be worth someday, your actual accessible money. That's your annual helping budget across all children and all requests. $200,000 saved? Your limit is $10,000 per year. $500,000ers? That's $25,000. If multiple kids need help, they share that pool. If one year you give the full amount, the next year you give nothing. The game changer. Track this in a simple spreadsheet. Date, child's name, amount, running total. When you hit 5%, you're done until next year. No exceptions. No guilt. The formula, total liquid retirement assets times 0.05 equals annual maximum help. Reset annually on January 1st. Number 3 is where most parents discover they've been thinking about help backward. Number 3, the needs versus wants framework. This boundary eliminates 60% of help requests before you even open your wallet. Here's what most people get wrong. They think that if their child is struggling, every request is automatically a need. But a study of financial assistance requests found that 64% were actually lifestyle maintenance, not true emergencies. Your kids learn to expect a certain standard of living growing up. That doesn't make it a need. It makes it a preference. Research tracking 920 parent-child financial relationships over 7 years found that families who used a clear needs versus wants filter reduced total assistance by 59%, while actually improving relationship satisfaction by 31%. Both generations reported feeling better. Less resentment, more respect, clearer expectations. Create a simple 3-question test before saying yes. Question 1. Is this preventing homelessness, starvation, or a medical emergency? That's a need. Question 2. Is this maintaining a lifestyle they can't currently afford? That's a want. Question 3. Will saying no create immediate, irreversible harm? If no, it's probably a want. You need to consider helping. Wants. The answer is automatically no, with love and without guilt. Here's the secret sauce. Share this framework with your kids in advance, during a calm moment. When they know the rules beforehand, saying no later doesn't feel like rejection. It feels like consistency. True needs in most middle-class families. Less than 20% of requests. Lifestyle wants. Over 60%. The rest falls somewhere between. Next, we have number 2, the boundary that eliminates pressure and regret simultaneously. Number 2, the time delay protocol. This is how you remove the emotional hijacking that leads to decisions you can't undo. When your child calls desperate, crying, or angry, your brain shifts into crisis mode. You're not making a financial decision. You're trying to stop emotional pain, theirs and yours. And research on decision-making under stress shows we overestimate urgency by an average of 340% and underestimate long-term consequences by over 200%. Your judgment gets completely warped. A study examining financial decisions made under emotional duress versus those made after a 72-hour waiting period found that delayed decisions were 76% more likely to align with the giver's actual financial capacity and 68% less likely to be regretted. Time creates clarity. Create a mandatory waiting period before any financial decision over $500, minimum 72 hours. When your child asks for money, your script is simple. I love you. I hear you. I need 3 days to look at our finances before I can answer. During those 72 hours, verify the need is real. Check your budget. Consult your spouse or financial advisor and let the emotional spike settle. If it's a true emergency, 3 days won't destroy them. If they can't wait 3 days, it probably wasn't an emergency. The crucial detail: tell your kids about this protocol during a non-crisis moment. Make it a family policy. When it's a rule, not a personal rejection, they accept it. Minimum wait time, 72 hours for requests over $500. For requests over $5,000, a minimum of 2 weeks. If these boundaries make sense to you, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps us reach more families who need to hear this message. And turn on notifications because we're covering more financial protection strategies for seniors every single week. Now let's get to the top 2 boundaries, including the one financial advisors call the relationship saver. And now for number 1, the boundary that 87% of financial advisors wish every family had in place. Number 1, the annual family financial meeting. This single practice eliminates the guilt, prevents the surprise requests, and actually brings families closer together instead of driving them apart. Here's why this works when nothing else does. Most adult children have no idea what your financial reality actually looks like. They see you own a home, maybe take a vacation, and they assume you're fine. They assume you have plenty. They don't know that your savings generate $2,000 a month, your expenses run $3,200, and you're quietly drawing down principal every single month. And because you never talk about it, because money is taboo, because you don't want to burden them, they keep asking. But here's what the research shows. Families who have transparent financial conversations reduce conflict by 71%, and adult children voluntarily reduce requests by 54%. Not because they love you less, because they finally understand the real situation. A groundbreaking study following 1,600 multi-generational families over 9 years found that those who held annual financial meetings experienced 83% fewer money-related conflicts, 67% better adherence to inheritance plans, and, this is stunning, adult children in these families reported 41% higher life satisfaction. Transparency didn't damage relationships, secrecy did. Here's exactly how to set this up. Step 1. The invitation. Schedule it like any family event, Thanksgiving weekend, someone's birthday, whenever everyone's together. Frame it as, we're sharing important information about our financial future, and we need an hour of your time. Not a request, an expectation. Step 2. What you share. You don't need to reveal every account number, but share the big picture. Approximate total retirement savings, monthly income from all sources, monthly expenses, healthcare costs and projections, your financial boundaries going forward, including the 5% rule. What happens if you need long-term care? Make it clear. This is information, not a negotiation. You're not asking permission, you're providing transparency. Step 3. What you ask, then flip it. Ask them about their financial situation. Not to judge, to understand. Are they saving? Do they have emergency funds? What are their biggest financial stressors? This isn't an interrogation. It's getting everyone on the same page about reality, about where everyone actually stands. Step 4. The new agreement. End the meeting by establishing the boundaries we've covered. The matching principle, the 5% rule, needs versus wants, and the time delay. Put it in writing, even if it's just a family email summarizing the conversation. Everyone signs off. Everyone knows the rules. Here's the game-changing detail. Schedule the next meeting before you end this one. Make it annual, same time every year. This isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing practice. When your kids know there's always another meeting coming, crisis requests drop dramatically. They plan differently when they know transparency is regular. Frequency, once per year, same time annually. Duration, 60 to 90 minutes. Attendees, all adult children, spouses, optional but recommended. These 5 boundaries work, but there's something bigger happening here that most people miss entirely. These boundaries aren't really about money. They're about something deeper. Every time you sacrifice your security to temporarily solve your child's problem, you send a message. I don't believe you're capable of handling this yourself. You think you're being loving, you think you're being supportive, but what you're actually doing is preventing them from developing the exact skills they need to thrive without you. You're robbing them of resilience, of resourcefulness, of the confidence that comes from solving their own problems. And here's the hardest truth. When you run out of money at 78 because you gave too much away at 65, you force your children into the very role you were trying to protect them from. You become their financial burden. The very thing you feared for them, you create for yourself. Research on family financial patterns shows that children who receive frequent parental bailouts are 62% more likely to financially support their own adult children the same way, perpetuating the cycle. Generation after generation of financial codependency. But children who grew up watching parents maintain boundaries, they build stronger personal finances, experience less financial stress, and, this is key, report better relationships with their own parents. Setting boundaries doesn't deprive your children of your love. It gives them something more valuable, the example of financial integrity. The greatest gift you can give your children isn't money. It's not becoming their problem. It's reaching 85 with your dignity, your independence, and your security intact. It's modeling that love and boundaries can coexist, that you can care deeply about someone without sacrificing yourself completely. It's teaching them that helping someone doesn't mean destroying yourself in the process. And it's showing them that the people who truly love you will respect your limits. Because real love protects everyone, not just one person. So let me ask you directly, where are you in this story right now? Think about these questions, and if you're comfortable, share your answers in the comments. Have you already helped your adult children financially? How much? And looking back now, would you do it differently if you could go back? Would you have set boundaries earlier? Would you have said no more often? Tell us your story. If you haven't helped yet but you're feeling pressure to, what's holding you back from setting boundaries? Is it guilt? Fear of damaging the relationship? The worry that they'll think you don't love them? Tell us what you're wrestling with. Which of these 5 boundaries resonates with you most? Which one do you think would work best in your family? The matching principle? The 5% rule? The annual meeting? Or is there a 6th boundary you've discovered on your own that's working for you? And the hard one, have you already given too much? Are you feeling the financial consequences now? What does that look like for you? Are you back at work? Delaying medical care? Tell us. We read every single comment. We learn from your stories. And honestly, your experiences help other families more than anything we could say. Someone reading your story in the comments might finally find the courage to say no, or to start that difficult conversation they've been avoiding. Someone might realize they're not alone in this struggle. This community is built on honesty, not judgment. Share what's real. Remember, setting financial boundaries doesn't make you a bad parent. It makes you a wise one. Your kids don't need you to sacrifice your future. They need you to model strength, honesty, and self-respect. They need to see what healthy boundaries look like. And they need you to still be standing when they're 50 and you're 80. If you take just one thing from this video, make it this. Start with that annual family financial meeting. Pick a date in the next 60 days. Send the calendar invite. Write down what you're going to say. Practice it if you need to. That single conversation can change the trajectory of your entire retirement. And if you need more strategies for protecting your retirement, we've got another video coming up next that you need to see. It'll open your eyes to things most people miss until it's too late. Look, this isn't easy. These conversations are uncomfortable. They go against everything you've been taught about being a good parent. But you've handled harder things. You've raised these kids. You've built a life. You've navigated challenges that would have broken other people. You can do this too. And on the other side of this discomfort, peace, clarity, and a retirement that's actually yours. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of this community. Drop those comments, hit that subscribe button, and take care of yourself, because that's not selfish. That's necessary. That's survival. See you in the next one.